Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to share with you a profound truth. A secret that confident women have known throughout history, yet it remains hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. It is not about outward achievements, appearances, or societal status. No, the secret lies deeper within the very core of our being. It is a secret rooted in self-awareness, balance, and the courageous embrace of both light and shadow within ourselves. When a woman discovers this truth, she moves through the world with an unshakable confidence. Not arrogance, but the quiet, radiant power of wholeness. True confidence does not stem from external sources or the fleeting approval of others. It arises from a profound and intimate relationship with oneself, a relationship rooted in self-knowledge. This self-knowledge is not merely an intellectual understanding of one's likes and dislikes or a superficial awareness of personality traits, but a deep, honest exploration of the inner world. A willingness to face what lies beneath the surface, including parts that are uncomfortable or difficult to accept. To truly know oneself means to engage in a continuous process of introspection, to listen attentively to one's emotions, impulses, dreams and fears, and to observe without judgment the various voices that inhabit the psyche. It requires a courage that many shy away from. The courage to look into the mirror of one's soul and acknowledge the fullness of one's humanity. This journey inward is the foundation upon which genuine confidence is built, for without this intimate knowledge, confidence can only be a fragile mask worn in the presence of others. When a woman begins to understand her own inner landscape, she begins to cultivate a sense of trust that is not dependent on outside validation. This trust arises because she has become familiar with her own rhythms, her strengths, and her vulnerabilities. She recognizes that her worth is not contingent on achievements or the approval of others but is intrinsic to her being. This realization is liberating, for it frees her from the exhausting need to perform or to fit in dictated by society or culture. Instead, she steps into a space of authenticity where her confidence is an expression of who she truly is rather than what she pretends to be. This authenticity shines through her presence, creating an aura of ease and self-assurance that others can sense even without words. This self-knowledge provides a map for navigating life's inevitable challenges and uncertainties. When a woman knows herself deeply, she can recognize the patterns of thought and behavior that serve her well and those that limit her. She becomes equipped to make choices aligned with her true values and desires rather than being swayed by fear or external pressures. In this way, self-knowledge becomes a source of empowerment because it grounds her decisions in clarity and integrity. It enables her to say no to what does not nourish her spirit, and yes to opportunities that resonate with her deepest sense of purpose. The process of knowing oneself also invites a radical honesty that can be both humbling and healing. It calls for a woman to confront the aspects of herself that she may have hidden away. Her doubts, insecurities, and even her capacity for anger or disappointment. Rather than rejecting or denying these parts, self-knowledge involves embracing them with compassion and understanding. This acceptance dissolves the internal conflicts that often undermine confidence and replaces them with a sense of wholeness. When a woman embraces her whole self, she no longer needs to armor herself against judgment or criticism, because she has integrated her shadows and her light. This integration is the essence of true confidence. It is not about being flawless but about being fully human and at peace with that reality. This journey towards self-knowledge is not a solitary one in the sense of isolation, but rather a dialogue between the conscious mind and the deeper layers of the unconscious. It is in this dialogue that hidden truths emerge, often in symbols, dreams, and intuitive insights that guide a woman toward greater understanding. The willingness to explore these depths requires patience and a gentle curiosity, a recognition that the self is vast and complex. Confidence grows not from rushing to quick answers, but from dwelling in the mystery of one's own being and trusting the unfolding process. As this relationship with the self deepens, the woman finds that her confidence is no longer a fragile construction dependent on transient circumstances but a stable and resilient force. It becomes a quiet knowing that she is enough as she is, that she possesses an inner wisdom and strength that can withstand life's storms. This confidence radiates outward in her interactions with others, not as a need to dominate or control but as a presence that invites respect and connection. It is a confidence rooted in authenticity, self-trust, and the profound understanding that to know oneself deeply is to be empowered beyond measure. Within every woman, beneath the surface of conscious awareness, there exists a shadow. An intricate part of the psyche composed of all those traits, feelings, and impulses that have been rejected, denied or pushed away because they were deemed unacceptable by oneself or society. This shadow is not merely the repository of flaws or weaknesses. It is a rich and complex dimension of the self that holds forgotten truths, hidden desires and unacknowledged truths. To be truly confident, a woman must come to know this shadow intimately and courageously. For it is only through embracing the totality of one's being, including the darker and more uncomfortable aspects, that authentic power can emerge. Many shy away from their shadow because it can provoke fear, shame, or confusion. Yet it is precisely in facing this inner unknown that profound transformation begins and conscience is born. The process of embracing the shadow involves a radical acceptance of what has been cast aside or repressed. It is not about becoming defined or controlled by these shadow elements but about recognizing them as integral parts of oneself. This recognition is a form of liberation, freeing a woman from the unconscious patterns and projections that arise when the shadow is denied. When the shadow is ignored, it often manifests in destructive ways, creating inner turmoil, sabotaging relationships and diminishing self-worth. The confident woman does not allow these hidden aspects to remain in exile, but invites them into the light of awareness, where they can be understood, integrated, and transformed. This integration leads to a greater sense of wholeness, and reduces the internal conflict that often undermines confidence. By engaging with the shadow, a woman learns that qualities she may have feared or disliked, such as anger, jealousy, vulnerability, or ambition, are not inherently bad or shameful but a part of her human experience. These qualities, when acknowledged and embraced, become sources of strength and authenticity. For instance, anger, often seen as a negative emotion, can become a powerful motivator for change and boundary setting. Vulnerability, rather than weakness, becomes a doorway to deeper connection and courage. Ambition, when balanced with integrity, fuels growth and purpose. The confident woman understands that these facets of her shadow, once integrated, enrich her character and empower her to act with clarity and conviction. The shadow is deeply connected to creativity and intuition. It is in the realm of the shadow that a woman taps into hidden wells of imagination, an insight that the conscious mind might overlook. By honoring this dimension of the psyche, she accesses a fuller spectrum of her potential and wisdom. The shadow holds not only what frightens or troubles but also what inspires and awakens the soul. Thus, embracing the shadow expands a woman's capacity to innovate, empathize and lead with authenticity. It is a dynamic source of vitality and depth that strengthens confidence by grounding it in a lived, embodied experience of self. The journey of shadow integration is neither quick nor easy. It requires patience, self-compassion, and the willingness to face uncomfortable truths without judgment. This process may involve moments of doubt, confusion, and emotional upheaval, yet it also brings profound healing and empowerment. Through this inner work, a woman dismantles the false narratives that have limited her and reclaims her true essence. She learns to see herself with eyes of compassion rather than criticism. Recognizing that all parts of her being contribute to the whole, this acceptance transforms the inner dialogue from one of self-judgment to one of self-respect and kindness, creating fertile ground for genuine confidence to flourish. When the shadow is embraced and integrated, the confident woman no longer feels the need to hide behind masks or personas designed to protect from judgment or rejection. Instead, she steps forward with an authentic presence that reflects the fullness of her being. This presence commands respect not through force or dominance but through a deep sense of integrity and self-possession. It is a confidence that comes from being whole, from no longer fearing the parts of herself that once caused shame or doubt. This wholeness allows her to engage with the world openly, courageously, and creatively, enriching her relationships and endeavors with honesty. In the end, the shadow is not an enemy to be conquered, but a vital ally to be befriended. It is the source of hidden treasures within the self, the gateway to deeper wisdom, and the foundation of true confidence. The woman who embraces her shadow walks a path of self-discovery that leads to empowerment and freedom. She carries within her the secret knowledge that to be confident is not to be perfect or unassailable but to be whole, integrated, authentic, and unafraid. It is through this profound acceptance and integration that confidence becomes a living, breathing force within her, guiding her through life's complexities with grace and strength. Confidence blooms when a woman learns to honor and embrace the balance of opposites within herself, the delicate harmony between strength and softness, power and vulnerability, ambition and compassion. This balance is not a static state but a dynamic dance, an ongoing process of integrating seemingly contrary qualities into a unified whole. Society often encourages women to lean heavily into either toughness or gentleness, creating pressure to choose between being strong or being kind, assertive or nurturing. Yet true confidence emerges precisely when a woman rejects this false dichotomy and allows both sides to coexist within her, recognizing that each quality enriches and supports the other, forming a resilient, authentic foundation for her presence in the world. When a woman embraces her strength, She acknowledges her capacity to act decisively, to set boundaries, and to pursue her goals with determination. This strength is not about domination or control, but about standing firmly in her truth and owning her power without apology. It is the inner fire that fuels her courage to face challenges, to speak her voice, and to advocate for herself and others. Yet this strength alone, if isolated, can become rigid or harsh, cutting off the softer qualities that soften her impact and deepen her connections. It is in balancing this strength with softness that confidence finds its fullest expression. Softness is often misunderstood as weakness or passivity, but it is, in truth, a profound source of resilience and grace. Softness allows a woman to be open, empathetic, and compassionate, to listen deeply and respond with kindness. It nurtures her ability to connect authentically with others and to receive support when needed. Softness creates a space where vulnerability is welcomed, not feared, enabling healing and growth. When paired with strength, softness tempers the intensity of power, making it accessible and inviting rather than intimidating. This interplay between strength and softness generates a magnetic presence, a confidence that is both compelling and approachable. Ambition and compassion are two qualities that might seem opposed, but when harmonized create a powerful force for positive change. Ambition drives a woman to strive, to innovate, and to pursue meaningful achievements. It propels her forward with vision and energy. Compassion, on the other hand, grounds ambition in empathy and awareness of others' needs, preventing it from becoming self-centered or ruthless. A confident woman understands that ambition without compassion risks becoming blind to the impact of her actions, while compassion without ambition can lead to passivity or self-sacrifice. Together, these qualities allow her to lead with both purpose and heart, inspiring others and fostering a sense of shared humanity. This balance of opposites within the psyche mirrors a deeper universal truth: the interdependence of polarities that create life's richness and complexity. Just as day cannot exist without night, and light is understood only in contrast to darkness, a woman's inner world thrives when she integrates opposing forces rather than denying one in favor of the other. This integration is not about achieving perfection or eliminating conflict, but about embracing paradox and complexity as essential parts of the human experience. Confidence that arises from such balance is grounded in wisdom and maturity, reflecting an acceptance of life's nuances rather than simplistic binaries. Living in this balance requires ongoing awareness and mindfulness. It means paying attention to which qualities are dominant at any given moment and gently bringing forward those that are needed to restore harmony. Sometimes strength must lead to protect or assert, other times softness must guide to heal or connect. The confident woman becomes attuned to these shifts within herself and learns to move fluidly between them, trusting her inner guidance. This flexibility is a hallmark of true confidence. It is not rigid or dogmatic but adaptive and responsive to the needs of the moment and the situation. Furthermore, this harmony within fosters a sense of peace and stability amidst life's inevitable uncertainties. When a woman embraces both her power and her tenderness, she cultivates an inner sanctuary where she can retreat and recharge. This sanctuary becomes a source of renewal and strength, enabling her to face external challenges with clarity and composure. The balance of opposites also enriches her relationships, allowing her to engage with others authentically and empathetically while maintaining her own integrity and boundaries. It creates a foundation for leadership and influence that is not in force, but in genuineness and to connection. Confident women know that the secret lies not in rejecting parts of themselves to conform to expectations but in welcoming and harmonizing the full spectrum of their qualities. This balance transforms confidence from a fragile performance into a deep, embodied state of being. It becomes a quiet yet powerful force that supports them as they navigate life's complexities with grace and authenticity. By honoring both strength and softness, ambition and compassion, women embody a confidence that is radiant, resilient, and enduring, inspiring others simply by being fully themselves. Every confident woman understands that she is the author of her own story, the weaver of a personal narrative that shapes not only how she sees herself but also how she moves through the world. This narrative is far more than a simple recounting of events or achievements. It is a living myth, a deeply meaningful story that connects her past, present, and future into a coherent and purposeful whole. Through this personal myth she finds meaning in her experiences, whether joyful or painful, and draws strength from the journey itself rather than just the destination. This ownership of her narrative empowers her to reclaim agency in her life, recognizing that while circumstances may influence her path, they do not determine her identity or worth. She embraces the role of storyteller and heroine, crafting a narrative infused with resilience, growth, and authenticity that sustains her confidence. This process of owning one's narrative involves a conscious and often courageous engagement with memory and experience. A confident woman does not shy away from the chapter that contain hardship, failure, or loss. Instead, she faces them with honesty and seeks to understand their lessons and gifts. She knows that every wound carries within it the potential for healing and transformation, and by integrating these experiences into her story, she transforms pain into wisdom and strength. This alchemical process of turning suffering into meaning is at the heart of the personal myth and is a key source of confidence. It allows her to stand tall not despite her scars but because of them. Carrying the testimony of her resilience as a silent but powerful affirmation of her worth, the personal myth also serves as a compass, guiding a woman's decisions and actions in alignment with her deeper values and purpose. When she views her life as an unfolding story with a meaningful direction, she is more likely to make choices that reflect her authentic self rather than reacting to external pressures or fleeting desires. This clarity of purpose grounds her confidence in something enduring and substantial, beyond temporary success or approval. It provides a framework within which she can navigate uncertainty and change with grace, knowing that every chapter contributes to the larger narrative arc of her life. This perspective transforms challenges into opportunities for growth, and invites her to embrace the unknown as an essential part of the journey. Owning one's narrative involves a recognition of the archetypal themes and symbols that resonate deeply within the psyche. These universal motifs, such as the journey, the hero's quest, the transformation, and the return, mirror the inner process of becoming whole. A confident woman taps into these themes, consciously or unconsciously, as she crafts her personal myth, finding in them a connection to something greater than herself. This connection enriches her story with a sense of timelessness and universality, reminding her her individual journey is part of the collective human experience. It also invites her to see herself as both unique and connected, an essential paradox that strengthens her sense of belonging and purpose. This sense of belonging extends beyond personal identity to include relationships with others and the world at large. As she authors her story, the confident woman acknowledges the impact of her life on those around her, and the reciprocal influence of community and culture. She recognizes that her narrative is woven into a larger tapestry, and she embraces the responsibility and privilege of contributing to this shared story. This awareness deepens her confidence by rooting in a relational context, where her authenticity and courage inspire others and foster meaningful connections. Confidence, in this sense, becomes not only an individual quality, but a generative force that ripples outward, creating space for others to claim their own narratives. Importantly, this ownership of one's story is a continuous, evolving process rather than a fixed achievement. A confident woman remains open to revising and expanding her narrative as new experiences and insights arise. She understands that growth involves transformation, and transformation requires the willingness to question and rewrite old scripts that no longer serve her. This flexibility ensures that her confidence remains alive and adaptive, capable of responding to life's complexities with creativity and wisdom. The ongoing act of storytelling becomes a practice of self-discovery and empowerment, a dynamic interplay between past, present, and future that sustains her sense of identity and purpose. Through this commitment to owning her narrative, a woman claims her power not as a fleeting possession, but as an enduring essence rooted in meaning and authenticity. She learns that confidence is less about external validation and more about the deep inner knowing that she is the creator of her own life story. This knowing carries with it a quiet strength and resilience, a steady flame that burns even in the face of adversity. By embracing her personal myth, she steps fully into her role as the protagonist of her own life, embodying a confidence that is rich, complex, and profoundly human beyond the individual self. Confident women know that their strength and resilience are deeply connected to something greater, an invisible current that flows through all existence, a source of wisdom, energy, and purpose that transcends the limits of personal identity. This connection is not always easy to describe or define, yet it is felt profoundly as a wellspring of inner strength that sustains them through moments of doubt, fear, and challenge. It may be experienced as a spiritual presence, a collective consciousness, a universal energy, or simply an abiding sense of belonging to the vast tapestry of life. Whatever form it takes, this connection provides a foundation of stability and meaning that empowers women ride the fluctuating tides of circumstance, and maintain their confidence in the face of uncertainty. This deeper connection invites a shift in perspective from the isolated ego to a broader sense of self that is intertwined with the world. Confident women understand that their existence is part of a larger whole, a complex web of relationships and influences that extend beyond individual boundaries. This awareness dissolves the illusion of separateness and fosters a sense of unity and interconnectedness. In recognizing that they are not alone, that their lives are woven into the fabric of something vast and enduring, they find a profound reassurance that strengthens their resolve and inspires a compassionate engagement with others. This expansive sense of self expands confidence beyond self-interest, rooting it in shared humanity and collective well-being. The connection to something greater also invites a humility that paradoxically enhances confidence. When a woman acknowledges that she is part of a larger whole, she releases the need for absolute control and perfection. She learns to trust in the unfolding of life, to surrender to rhythms and cycles beyond her making, and to find peace in the mystery of existence. This trust is not a passive resignation but an active engagement with the unknown, a faith in the resilience of the human spirit, and the creative forces that shape the world. It allows confident women to navigate uncertainty with grace, adapting to change while remaining grounded in their core values and purpose. This balance of surrender and strength deepens their confidence and enriches their experiencing life. This connection acts as a wellspring for inspiration and creativity. By tuning into the larger currents of life, women access insights and guidance that transcend rational thought. They open themselves to intuition, dreams, and moments of profound clarity that illuminate their path. This connection to a greater source nurtures their ability to innovate, to see possibilities beyond immediate challenges, and to act from a place of wisdom rather than fear. It fuels their resilience by reminding them that they are part of a continuum that stretches beyond individual trials and triumphs. Offering a sense of continuity and hope, confident women also draw strength from the recognition that their lives contribute to a greater purpose. This purpose may be expressed in myriad ways, through relationships, creative endeavors, service to others, or the pursuit of justice and truth. By aligning their actions with this higher purpose, they infuse their lives with meaning that transcends personal gain or external approval. This alignment creates a powerful source of motivation and endurance, enabling them to persevere when faced with obstacles. It also connects them to a community of like-minded individuals who share similar values and aspirations, reinforcing a sense of belonging and support. This communal aspect of the connection to something greater nurtures confidence, by situating the individual within a network of shared meaning and collective strength. The connection to a higher source also encourages self-reflection and continuous growth. Confident women recognize that their journey is ongoing, and that embracing this connection involves a commitment to inner work and transformation. They cultivate practices that deepen their awareness, such as meditation, contemplation, creative expression, or engagement with nature, that open pathways to the transcendent. Through these practices, they develop a relationship with the unknown that is both reverent and curious, welcoming insights that challenge and expand their understanding of themselves and the world. This openness to growth sustains their confidence by keeping them flexible and receptive to new possibilities. This connection reminds women that confidence is not a solitary achievement, but a relational state rooted in interdependence and trust. It is a confidence that recognizes the ebb and flow of life, the interplay of individual effort and collective support, and the dance between vulnerability and strength. By anchoring themselves in this greater reality, confident women cultivate a durable and expansive confidence. One that carries them through adversity with courage and compassion, that invites them to live boldly and authentically, and that inspires others to awaken their own inner power. This connection is the secret they carry within, a silent force that empowers, sustains and guides them on their journey through life. In conclusion, the secret confident women know is not a secret at all. It is the profound wisdom of embracing the entirety of their being. When a woman journeys inward with courage, she discovers a well of confidence that no external circumstance can diminish. This confidence is not loud or boastful. It is a steady flame that illuminates her path and inspires those around her. May each of us have the courage to seek this secret within ourselves, to live in wholeness, and to shine with the quiet power of true confidence.